Hello. I invite you to continue our series of calm reflections on the book Our Home by André Luiz, a spiritual account of life after death and the maturation of consciousness. Chapter 14 leads us into one of the most demanding moments of this journey. Not because it brings suffering, but because it reveals the truth about the motives of the heart. When André Luiz stands before Clarêncio, his heart beats violently. He feels like a student who has not yet had time to prepare and has already been summoned before a strict examiner. The sight of the woman in tears who preceded him, and the calm yet firm posture of the minister of assistance, awaken deep hesitation within him. A thought arises to withdraw, to return to his room, to wait patiently instead of asking. He wonders whether it is too soon, whether it is an act of presumption to desire work while he still remains a patient, whether he is repeating earthly habits, where titles and functions come before the readiness of the spirit. But it is already too late. Clarêncio, as if reading his thoughts, invites him to speak. André wishes to ask for the opportunity to work, not for a specific function, not for the position of a physician, but for any useful activity that would allow him to leave inactivity behind. He speaks of gratitude for his restored health, of the need to be useful, of the desire to serve. Clarêncio listens attentively, and then speaks words that strike at the very core. He explains that although André speaks of readiness for any task, within him still lives a longing for his former role, for patience, for the office, for the sense of professional identity that shaped him on earth. And then begins the most important lesson of this chapter. The minister of assistance recalls André's earthly path, not to accuse him, but to reveal the mechanism. He speaks of the advantages André received, of an education that demanded no sacrifice, of rapid success that came without knowing hardship, of a professional path that, instead of being a space for maturation, became an area of abuse. He explains that every profession is an invitation from the Father to enter the temple of work, and that a title is merely an entry card, not a reward, not proof of spiritual maturity. What truly matters is how one acts within that temple. Clarêncio shows André that his work on earth too often stopped at the body, at terminology, at technique. Yet life, both earthly and spiritual, is far broader. A physician who sees only the body is like a botanist who studies only the dry bark of a tree. Diagnosis is not enough. True healing requires entering the soul, its motives, its depths. Many people of knowledge remain prisoners of their own lecture halls because pride has taken away the key to further growth. André listens, shaken. He had never known such an understanding of professional responsibility. He did not realize that an academic title could be treated as a spiritual credit that must one day be accounted for. He does not defend himself. He does not deny it. He receives this truth in silence, and finally, holding back tears with difficulty, he surrenders completely. He asks not for a function, not for a privilege, but for the possibility of work in any form. that would allow him to learn anew. Then Clarêncio changes his tone. He says that he does not bring only bitter truths. He also brings a word of hope. He explains that André cannot yet serve as a physician in our home, but he may become a student. His current position is not high, yet it is comforting, because the good he did on earth, even without full awareness, did not go unanswered. Free help offered to those in need, kind gestures, small acts of compassion, all of this sowed seeds that now bear fruit as spiritual intercession. Not only André's mother prays for him, others whom he once helped remember him as well. And even good done casually speaks in his favor. The chapter ends quietly. André does not receive what he expected, but he receives what he truly needed: a chance to learn, time to mature, an opportunity to prepare for future service. For the first time in the colony, he weeps with joy, not from pain, not from regret, from gratitude. Because sometimes the heart must fall silent in the solemn silence of God. And it leaves us with a question: are we able to accept the role of a student before we desire to become teachers? In the next chapter, we will see how this attitude begins to truly shape the further path of André Luiz. The journey continues. See you soon.